and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. Councilwoman Vanez.
Heavenly Father, we come before you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that will affect our community. Continue to remind us that we are servants for the greater good of our fine community. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Also like a prayer for Andrea Collins, one of my classmates who's on life support in Indianapolis, who graduated with me in the class of 1985. Thank you.
Clerk Golick, roll call.
Markovich. Spitali.
Here.
Vanez.
Here.
Galwinski. Ulaki.
Here.
Higgs.
Here.
Emerson.
Here.
Enosa.
Here.
Opinker.
Here. Thank you, Clerk Golick. Moving on to presentation. Councilwoman Vanez.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. On February 26th, I had the privilege of attending the Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year dinner. The Boys and Girls Club of Northwest Indiana recognized the 2015 Youth of the Year finalists from Gary, Cedar Lake, Lake Station, Hammond, and East Chicago Boys and Girls Clubs. The Youth of the Year program celebrates youth who have overcome enormous odds and demonstrated exceptional character and accomplishments. The winner from Northwest Indiana will advance to compete in September in Washington, D.C. for the National Youth of the Year title. The winner of the national competition will receive a $5,000 scholarship. The Youth of the Year program helps club members reach their full potential by encouraging them to do well in school, lead healthy lifestyles, and contribute to their communities. Youth of the Year honorees are shining examples and living proof that great futures start at the Boys and Girls Club. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to Whitley Buck from the Hammond Boys and Girls Club, who is the 2015 Youth of the Year from Northwest Indiana and will represent us in Washington, D.C., along with her mom and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Buck. Congratulations.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you for having me here tonight. This was very important to me. This was something that I was focused on for a long time in my childhood. This was always something that I wanted to do. I will be going to Indianapolis on Thursday and Friday to compete at the state level and compete at a chance for $40,000. And when I hit the national level, I have a chance for $100,000 as well as other things. I plan on using that money to go to Lewis University in Romeoville, Illinois, and get a degree in medicine and go into pediatrics. So, and I will be trying to come back and work in Hammond because I love Hammond.
Congratulations, young lady, and good luck.
Congratulations.
Okay, moving on to reading of minutes.
President,
Councilman Spitali.
make a motion to accept the minutes from February 23rd, 2015.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Spitali, second by Councilman Emerson to accept the minutes. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vanez.
I would like to place the minutes on file, please.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes pass. Next, moving to approval of claims.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vanez.
I move for approval of claims from February 18th, 2015 through March 4th of 2015 for council meeting today, March 9th, 2015. Beginning with claim number 1254, dated March 2nd, in the amount of $149,157.16, ending with claim number 1590, dated March 4th, in the amount of $100, for a total of $2,619,359.52.
Second.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Vines, second by Councilman Hinojosa on accepting of the claims. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
I have 4 amendments. The first one is 1591 to Hammond Soccer for $250. 1592 to the Indiana Department of Transportation in the amount of $6,556.48. That is for a change order on Indianapolis Boulevard from 169th Street to 165th Street. Claim number 1593, also to the Indiana Department of Transportation in the amount of $7,720.80. That is a change order for 169th Street from Harrison Avenue to Southeastern. And also 1594, this is to the GEMS College Tour in the amount of $200. I so move.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion by Councilwoman Vines to amend the claims, second by Councilman Higgs. Is there any discussion on the amendment of the claims? Clerk Golick, roll call vote on the amendment of the claims.
Markovich. Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Ulaki.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Hinosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes. Claims passed, 8-0, 1 absent. Now the claims as written. Clerk Golick, roll call vote.
Markovich. Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Ulaki.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Hinosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes, claims passed, 8-0, 1 absent. Now we move to our public hearings. There are 2 of them on 1503 to appropriate monies into the 2015 gaming fund, and 1504 to appropriate funds in a hotel motel innkeeper's tax fund for the Planning and Development Department, $47,046.71. Anybody wishing to speak on either of these ordinances, please come forward. The public hearing is now open. Public hearing is now open for 1503 and 1504. Hearing none, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Moving on to communications. Any communications? Communications is now closed. Moving on to committee reports.
Mr. President,
Councilman Hinojosa.
Council as a whole is going to bring up 1503 and 1504.
Any other committee reports?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
yes, at this time, I would like to announce the Community and Crime Watch meetings from the Community and Crime Watch Committee. On Wednesday, March 11th, 5:30 p.m., the Columbia Crime Watch will meet at Columbia School. On Tuesday, March 17th, the East Hammond Pullman Crime Watch will meet at the Ophelia Steen Center at 6:30 p.m. Thursday, March 19th, the Hessville Crime Watch will meet at the Gene Shepherd Center at 7 p.m. Wednesday, March 18th, the Lafayette Neighborhood Watch will meet at Lafayette School at 6:30 p.m. On Thursday, March 19th, the South Hammond Crime Watch will meet at the Hammond Housing Authority building at 7 p.m. On Thursday, March 12th, the Whiting-Robertsdale Crime Watch will meet at Calumet College at 6:30 p.m. And that is how change happens. One gesture, one person, one moment at a time. Thank you.
Any other committee reports? Committee reports is now closed. Ordinance is third and final passage. Clerk Golick.
Item A, ordinance 15-03, sponsored by Councilman Opinker, an ordinance to appropriate monies into the 2015 gaming fund.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kowinski.
I move for final passage of 15-03.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Kowinski, second by Councilman Spitali for final passage of 1503. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I want to identify where these appropriations are going. 2014, First District, 13,073.88. Second District, 1,374,846.60. Third District, 407,485.66. Fourth District, 1,336,000. Excuse me, and $140.04. Sixth District, 200,793.86. Mayor's balance, 1,621,165.13. Citywide engineering, 1,073,934.68. Citywide parks, $11,438.67. 10% share, $30,563.59. First District Park, $91.64. Second District Parks, excuse me, $100,000. Third District Engineering, $1.12. And Third District Park, $30,590.
Any other discussion? Clerk Golick.
President?
Councilwoman Vines.
Yes, it is my understanding that these dollars are left over from 2014 and they're being transferred over to 2015, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call vote on 1503.
Markovich. Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kowinski.
Yes.
Ulaki.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Canosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes, ordinance 1503 passes 8-0, one absent.
Item B, ordinance 15-04, sponsored by Councilman Spitali. An ordinance to appropriate funds in the Hotel Motel Innkeepers Tax Fund for the Planning and Development Department.
Mr. President,
Councilman Spitali.
for final passage of 1504.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Spitali, second by Councilman Higgs on final passage of 1504. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Spitali.
this is tax money received from the hotels and motels. The funds are made available for economic development purposes for the city of Hammond through county innkeepers taxes. This year, they're using the appropriation funds for training and advertising materials available in sites throughout the city of Hammond. Thank you.
Any other discussion on ordinance 1504? Clerk Golick, roll call vote.
Markovich. Spitali.
Yeah.
Vines.
Yes.
Kowinski.
Yes.
Ulaki.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Canosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes, ordinance 1504 passes 8-0, one absent.
President Opinker, that concludes the public hearings
Thank you, Clerk Golick.
and final passage.
Moving on to introduction of ordinances.
Item A, ordinance 15-08, sponsored by Councilman Opinker. And ordinance amending ordinance 5023, amending ordinance 6042, and amending ordinance 7402, also known as section 93.047 of the Hammond Municipal Code as it pertains to reimbursement charges for Hammond Fire Department hazardous material spills.
Mr. President,
Councilman Hinojosa.
yeah, I move for first and second reading of 1508 and place in council as a whole. Oh, third and final.
No, this is first and second.
First and second.
There's a motion by Councilman Hinojosa for first and second on 1508 and place this in council as a whole. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Higgs. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to be added as a sponsor of this particular ordinance. I so move.
Would you add Councilman Higgs to this ordinance? Any other discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines?
shouldn't this be placed in Police and Fire Committee?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs?
it's the discretion of the council. It can be placed in council as a whole. We are going to have a committee meeting on it anyway.
Right. Yeah, it could go on either. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? First and second passes.
Item B, ordinance 15-09, sponsored by Councilman Higgs. An ordinance designating the first block of Highland Street as Honorary John J. Letko Street.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs?
I move 15-09 on first and second reading by title and refer to council as a whole. I so move.
Second.
There's a motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Hinojosa on first and second, place it in council as a whole. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs?
I'd like Clerk Goley to read the accolades from this gentleman who served our country very well.
I object to that. Robert's Rules of Order, number 33, request an inquiry, section D, number 10. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? All those in favor of first and second?
Aye.
Opposed? First and second passes.
President Opinker, that concludes the introduction of ordinances.
Thank you, Clerk Golick. Moving on to resolutions, there are none. Next will be no unfinished business.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
seeing that you didn't read it in its entirety, I will disclose some of the accolades for the gentleman who I'm designating the 100 block of Highland Street. He served in Pearl Harbor, very active in the community as well as to his family, and he is now deceased. So those are some of the accolades, and at some point I will send this to the press as well as to my constituents, identifying him as a great gentleman who served our country well.
Any other new and unfinished business? New and unfinished business is now closed. Moving on to public expression. First speaker will be Mr. George Stoya. Next speaker, actually the last speaker, Mr. William O'Connor.
So nice to be with you again. The old place looks great, doesn't it? Last November, this council passed a $36 million bond issue to pay $36 million in outstanding debt. Who voted for that bond issue? Nobody voted for that bond issue? Then it couldn't have passed. I'll put it this way, what's the status of that bond issue? I'll help you out a little bit. It went up in flames 2 weeks ago when the issuer withdrew it because the city of Hammond's financial condition is so poor. I'll put this another way. Those 36 million that you passed, that the Hammond taxpayers have to pay back. How many did you buy, Mr. Opinker? Over here, I won't go one by one and embarrass you any more than I have already. I remember what I heard. Well, those bonds are backed by our casino dollars. I guess you never heard that they filed bankruptcy. Well, but they're backed by our water contract with Chicago Heights, the contract that doesn't bind them to take one drop. Why did you vote for it, any of you? The people of Hammond want an answer, not just me. Where do we go from here, now that that went down the tubes? I'll tell you where we're going if you don't start answering questions. We're going straight to municipal bankruptcy. And if you don't think that can happen, just say 2 words, Horseshoe Casino. I'm sorry, I speak a little too much. You think I'm a little angry? You're damn right I am. I turned on the radio Friday morning to hear our mayor say, remember, don't hire Joe O'Connor for your attorney. Oh, you've got some bad people. Some dumb people on this county. I'm Councilman Higgs' attorney. I'm Councilman Hinojosa's attorney. I'm Councilman Markovich's attorney. And Mr. Opinker, I am not your attorney. I'm your mother and father's attorney, just like my father. Do you think they should have not hired me as an attorney, just like your parents did? I guess the reception's a little chillier than I thought. You're going to have to answer these questions. And you know what McDermott did? What he did after he said, don't hire Joe O'Connor as an attorney? I called in to answer, and that sneak hit the shut-off button so no one would hear me. Well, he's going to hear me on November the 5th, excuse me, May the 5th, and he's going to hear from every other person in this.
Time's up, Mr. O'Connor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Spitali. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.